Welcome back to Love in the Wild. And you know what this is? This is actually season 2. We are getting further into our mindset shift and we're going deeper into self confidence, self love,
Mhm.
and knowing your worth. And the truth be told is that most people don't fail at fitness because they're lazy. They fail because their mindset is working against their body. So, this is Love in the Wild, chapter 2. We're going to talk self growth, self trust, and the mindset shifts that actually change how you live. Today's conversation is about fitness and wellness, but not in the performative, push harder way we've been taught. We're talking why so many people feel stuck in all or nothing cycles, why consistency feels harder the more stressed life gets, and why doing everything right can still leave you disconnected from your body. I'm joined today by wellness expert and fitness guru Emily. She is a women's wellness coach and movement expert who helps women in their 30s and beyond level up their lives by teaching them how to support their bodies. Emily works with women who are ready to take both their bodies and their lives to the next level. So she was perfect for Love in the Wild. She is known for helping women at different phases of her life learn how to move, nourish, and care for themselves in alignment with how their bodies respond best at that stage. So, if you've ever felt guilty for resting or wondered why motivation never seemed to last, this episode will shift the way you think about your body. So, let's get into it and welcome Emily to Love in the Wild.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
I know, I'm so happy to have you.
Yes, immediately I'm like, "Oh my god, we're twins. We're podcast soulmates."
We
Like,
really
look at
are.
us.
Like we can talk about like the same hairstyle we get, same hair
Yes,
color.
same lip color, same big white smile.
Yes, everything. I love it. Okay, Emily,
Same.
so tell me all about how you got into health
Mhm.
and wellness. I saw you on social. Your page is such a vibe. And so I need to know all the details.
Yes, definitely. Okay, I do have a quick question for you, though, before we
Yes.
start. Like, what post, I don't know, like, introduced me to you? Like, how did you exactly find me?
Ooh, that's a good question. I want to say there was like one post of you. It was like
Mhm.
zoomed in on like your butt and your leg. And you were like in like a hip thrust kind of. I don't know. It was like super like
Yeah.
vibey. And I was like, I love the kind of moody,
Mhm.
like the no BS, but it's like very wellness
Yeah.
girly. And I was like,
Yes.
that's my vibe. And I was like, what is this page about? And then I looked at it and it was all about mindset shifts as it relates to fitness.
Huh?
And I was already going into season 2 of Love in the Wild, where I was
Mhm.
like, I really find so much value in the mindset shift of things
Mhm.
versus like the to-dos of things. So yeah, we should be working out, we should be eating healthy, but there's something deeper when you get to that point where you're like, I actually wanna honor my body. I actually don't
Mhm.
wanna put that garbage in my body because
Mhm.
I value myself so much that I'm going to take the time to meal prep. I'm gonna take the time to eat nourishing things. And once you have that shift, which aligns perfectly with like what I got from your page,
Mhm.
is it just becomes more of a lifestyle and you just elevate yourself to be such a
Mhm.
queen of like,
Mhm.
actually, I don't wanna do that because it doesn't
Yes.
honor me.
That's what I mean when I talk about I got hotter and healthier in my 30s. Like, that is what it means. And all of a sudden, you showed up on my page, and I was just and you messaged me. I'm like, "Who is this brunette baddie? Like, who is this? We must be friends." Like, yeah, I'm gonna come on your podcast, of course.
Yes, I love it.
So, okay, thank you for sharing that. That's such a good segue into my journey and my belief system and approach to coaching, which I is really unique. So, when I was in my mid-20s, like, first of all, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. Like, I wasn't an amazing student. I was so average. I was not an athlete. Like, I excelled at nothing in high school except for being like, just like being like expressive and angsty. And so that moodiness that you talk about in my feed, like the way that I edit is kind of, I don't know, like that part of me from high school that's just never gone away. And now it comes out in the color choices in my feed. In my athleisure, I will say, I wear a lot of black. Like, don't give me a pattern, don't give me a bright color. You will never see me in it.
Love it. I love it.
Yes. So I just kind of hit my 20s and my college years like, what is this about? I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. And then I also never felt good. So starting out when I was 10, I got like my first migraine headache, which if anybody's ever had migraines before, they cut out your vision, your arms go numb, you vomit profusely, and it's debilitating pain. So there's a difference between a headache and a migraine. Like, let's just be very clear. So from an early age, I just kind of felt different because I was always getting really sick. My immune system was super weak. I had really bad digestive health problems and I got these really bad migraines. So for me, that's kind of all I knew from 10 on. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse because in high school, when you're angsty and you don't feel like you're good at anything, what do? You kind of drink and rebel. And do you
Mhm.
think that helps you? No, that doesn't help your health. All of a sudden, I've got like really bad anxiety now. And I just have a lot of brain fog and no energy. So I miss so many days of school from having migraines and being sick that my parents got the call, like, "She can't miss any more school." Yeah, that's how out I was.
Wow.
So, it was kind of a blur those years, and then when it came time to apply to college, I'm like, "Well, what do I do here? I'm supposed to go, so I'm gonna go, and I guess I'll be in the communications school because let's be real, I'm not a great student, and at least it's kind of like this bridge of artsy. There's not a lot of math. Don't ever ask me to do math. Girl math I can do, but
I think we are the same person. I have a degree in communications because I was like, I like to, like, weigh my options. I'm like, "What am I good at? What am I bad at?" Math, I was terrible at. So I was like,
Mhm.
"How do I get the least amount of math and still graduate from college?"
Right.
Communications.
There we go. So and I'm sharing all this because it really sets the stage for what brought me to where I am now. And so in college, I'm not feeling like anything is really clicking for me. I just didn't really care about a lot of things, right? Like there was nothing that hit me that made me feel alive or passionate.
Mm,
But what I was struggling with immensely was like social anxiety because I had all these gut issues. So, the gut brain axis, like when you have a lot of gut issues, one, it's the anchor of your self esteem and your self worth. Two, it really impacts your cognitive abilities and your mental health. So, here I am just trying to make it through. Right? Forget dating. I have the worst track record with guys. When you're insecure, you'll just be like, yeah, I'll do whatever, blah, 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 just like me. That was kind of who I was. And so then I graduate and I go into my 20s and my health just keeps getting worse. And I'm going to gastroenterologists and getting colonoscopies and endoscopies as a 20-year-old. Like, that's absurd. We can't find anything, just some inflammation. So I keep getting sicker and no one is helping me.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's super confusing. So I start to think to myself, well, screw doctors. They're not here for me. So I guess I'm going to take this upon myself. And I went really woo woo. Like I went woo woo. Did acupuncture all the time. Not that that's that woo woo anymore. Like, let's be real, in
Mhm.
2026, alternative therapies are becoming so normal and common, almost westernized in a way. But this acupuncturist was like, you should really only eat plants because meat is super inflammatory. And she's like, what's a colonoscopy? And I love her. I have known her for years. She's phenomenal. And I had low self worth. And so I'm just taking what she said as fact and truth, and I'm not filtering anything.
Mhm.
She's like, you don't need another colonoscopy. It's going to flush out all the good bacteria in your gut. Try being plant based. So, what happens is fiber is like throwing gasoline on an inflammation fire. So, I could not eat anything. I'm 5'7. I weigh 130 pounds now. I weighed 109 pounds. Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
So, eating plant based, I think, is almost like we could argue it's nature's Ozempic, right? So you will lose a ton of weight
Mhm.
by doing the vegan thing very healthfully, not a junk food vegan, but a real vegan. So
Right. I
during
tried
this point,
it and I was
did
like, "It's"
you?
I totally did. 'Cause I watched a video, like, you watch those Netflix videos, and tried it and I was just eating bread and, like,
Mhm.
I was a junk food vegan
Mhm.
because I was in college. It was like
Right. It was, like, really trendy, and then it got really popular, and now all of a sudden people are like, "Well, we kinda need meat."
yeah, yep.
So anyway, to speed it up, it was a huge, massive turning point for me because then I met the first love of my life, and I just wanted to be everything for him, and I was obsessed with him. He was so cute. He looks like, I mean, he's still with us. He's still alive, right? He
Like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible." He's no
he's
longer
still
with
with
us.
us. Praise be. Not with me, but with someone. And, not he looked. Do you know JFK Jr.?
Yes.
Okay, just a total brunette smoke show. Like,
Okay. Just
so
like a classy man,
charismatic. So
looks-wise.
no, we love him. He's fun, he's fun. So I met him, and he knew where he wanted to go. He had gotten into this MBA program, he was a little bit older than me, and here I am, like, sicker than a dog. But, like, no one really knows because since I had had so many doctors tell me there was nothing wrong with me, I just kinda shut it down.
Mm.
And I'm like, "Well, maybe it is just anxiety."
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if that's what everyone's telling you, at a certain point,
Right?
you're, like, gaslit into your own beliefs. You're just like, "Okay, I guess."
Exactly. And so I was just barely eating, trying to be vegan, and, like, super in love with this guy who just knew what he was doing, knew where he was going, and it really made me shut down even more.
Why?
Because I felt, to your point about self-worth, in comparison to him, like, what could I offer? That's
Mm.
literally where I was.
Yep. I've been there.
Like, he's everything. He's so important. He's doing this big thing in his MBA program. I'm teaching yoga classes,
Yeah.
like, making us vegetables. And, like, I felt my role and my worth was coming from making sure he was successful. And he never, like, asked that of me, but
Yeah.
that's the role I took on.
Yeah. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, like, if that's
Mhm.
your calling.
Yes.
I've struggled because my mom I love a traditional relationship, like, to the ends of the earth, and I've struggled with my mom on this because she and my dad have a very traditional relationship where, like, she's always worked part-time, he's been, like, the breadwinner, she took care of the kids, they had a, like, more on the traditional side. I've always had and that's what she wanted for me, right? Like, that's what she knew, that's what she wanted, and she never understood why I wanted to, like, hustle and make money, and I wanna, like, build things, and I wanna, like, do so much with my career and, like, my life. And there's just something inside some of us that it's like, when you go into that role, you almost feel like an imposter. You're like, "I love doing this because I love to care and I love to nurture," and
Mhm.
that's, like, I think what women enjoy doing, but then for some of us, we're like, "But I also wanna have my cake and eat it too. I want to build. I want to do the things. I want to, like, have it all." So, I totally get it. I don't think there's anything wrong. Part of me wishes, like, I didn't have this entrepreneurial mindset and I could just be, like, a stay-at-home wife and mom and because I'm like, I would probably be way less like, my brain would turn off maybe at a certain point.
Mhm.
Like, I wouldn't be up at 2 a.m. in my notes app being like, "This is a great new business idea," or, "I should start doing this with my business." It's like so I get it.
Yeah, in that phase of my life, like, again, I love that you said there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to pour into your boyfriend or your husband, and you see that nurturing, supportive role as your calling.
Mhm.
It was not mine.
Yes.
I became so I mean, to this day, I feel like I don't know if he really knows how in love with him I was, like, how much I loved him.
Mm.
And that was my first time I'd ever been in love like that too, and so these feelings and emotions, They have chemical reactions in our brains. They do different things like loving someone, being with someone. And so, whenever we're introduced to new layers of our human experience, it can throw us. And so, pairing that with what I then found out was Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel disease.
Mm,
It was just this point where I felt like a shell of myself. He ended up dumping me. And then I think 2 years later or a year plus later, COVID happened. And
mm,
I was like, if there's anything I care about, because I, even though had suffered a lot through my health journey, it required me, well, it didn't require me. I felt called to understand the human body in a different way. I felt called to understand movement. I found a lot of relief in yoga. That was my first fitness certification. And because I was so weak, I was super anemic, my hair was falling out, all these different things, like gentler, low impact movement really served me at that phase in my life.
mhm. Okay.
So then when I actually got on my recovery journey, I became a wellness coach. I started doing other certifications, getting introduced to other types of movement. COVID's happening and you're seeing all of these influencers rise around wellness. And it really was the birth of the wellness movement online. Like Pilates at that point in time was anyone who had an app, anyone who was doing any of that, their lives changed forever. You look at Sammy Clark and Form. That was when her app just went and she went gangbusters because it was a collective cultural moment and a global scale where people were forced to look at their health and wellness.
Yes.
And when you and I were chatting about this podcast and you were chatting about mindset around wellness, this idea of not punishing our bodies, not trying to fix them. To me, what was coming to mind is okay, well, first we have to understand that in order to shift that mindset, we need to view our bodies as something we have a relationship with. And a
Mm,
lot of times, the first time we ever see that is when there's a health crisis like COVID. We start
mhm.
looking at our bodies as something different. We start viewing them differently.
Yep.
The other big portal for that for women is when you have your menstrual cycle, because for the first time, a lot of things start happening. You're like, why am I getting these pimples? Why am I bloated? Does it feel like someone's stabbing my lower belly? And so
It's
then
true. It's totally
we,
true.
we learn then that, okay, we have these cycles and we as women have rhythms.
Yes.
The next time that happens is when you're trying to conceive. Right? When you
Yep.
really start to look at your body, and if you have difficulty conceiving, that's when we really have this my body's a problem, I need to fix it. But what if we could look at it and side note, in that journey, a lot of women have to learn about fertility in a way we never have before because when were we really taught that much about our own bodies?
Never.
Like health class? No, we were just taught about use a condom. That's what
Yes.
that's what they told us.
Right.
Don't
Or,
get
like,
pregnant.
the terrible diseases that you can get. Like, what? That's it?
Yeah. So never ever are we taught how to have a relationship with our body or that even the way to potentially the most healthy way to view our body is from the standpoint of a relationship. Your body
Mhm.
will give to you as you give to your body.
Yes, it's totally true, and it's kinda like the route that this whole podcast has gone. It started off, in dating, and I wanna keep going that way, but just, like, the relationship you have with yourself has to be, like, so honest and, like, so honoring, where you're like, "I'm not, like, pushing my boundaries back anymore," or, "I am gonna speak up," or, when you're faced with a decision, you're like, "That kinda makes my gut feel a little tingly, I don't know if I like it." And that was kind of my first, I guess, jump into the deep end of honoring myself
Mhm.
was feeling that gut instinct in situations and really looking inward and not thinking with my mind and saying, this is a good business decision or this is a good person I should date because they're great on paper or I can just, binge drink over the weekend and it's fine. It's having that like, should I? Maybe I shouldn't. And you look internal and you say, that probably won't do anything for me.
Mhm.
And not in a way of being, like, better than others, but really just saying, like, "That's not right for me."
And really what you're talking about is the glow up process.
Yes.
That term has become so popular on Instagram. And I just recorded because I launched my podcast this year, which was like a, yes.
Yay!
Yeah, it was a big vision board goal of mine for a while. And then I'm like, I'm going to do it. So, yes.
Yay!
But
I'm so excited. What is your podcast? I mean, obviously it's about you and health and wellness, but what is it about?
mhm. So it's called the Hot and Healthy Podcast. Yeah. So my introductory episode yesterday was a solo session, and it was really about the glow up process and the fact that we can't. So a lot of women come to me when they want to work with me and they say, I want X, Y, and Z. I want the end result. So that might be a lot of people come to me to work on their core. They might want a little more definition in their core. They might want to lose weight. Sometimes women come to me because they've been locked in the stop and start cycle and they really want to break that. But what I inevitably, and I always have people work with me for at least 3 months, which is kind of a point of friction for some. But I do it that way because the first month is kind of a wash because people are really trying to understand what this is going to require of them. And so to loop that back to the glow up process and what you were saying is there's this version of us that exists right now.
Mhm.
And then there's this glowed up future version of ourselves. And to go from here to here, it is going to look like this.
Yep.
As long as it is trending upward, we're on the path. But it's never like this. It's never
No.
like that.
No.
And so, what you were articulating was you started to realize and become aware that your body has this internal guidance system.
Yes, that is so powerful.
So powerful. And you started to listen to it. You started to try it out. You got curious, like what would happen if I did the thing I felt guided to?
Mhm.
But I'm guessing that process wasn't like, let me listen to this internal guidance system and never make a mistake again and never go boomerang back and doubt it. It was
Yep.
probably not like this.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
And that's what my podcast is about, is that process.
Ooh.
Yeah. And bringing in different experts and people who have this lived experience and this knowledge about, okay, so I was this version of me and I became this version of me because I went through this process.
And that process is icky. Like, it's a lot of ups and downs, and the ups feel great, and then you crash back down to a down, and you're, like, questioning everything about your life.
Mhm.
Am I doing the right thing? Am I even making progress? Am I just wasting time? Should I be doing something different? Like, all of these thoughts run through your head when you're in that process.
And I wish more women knew that if you're experiencing that, that's a good sign because that means you're on the path.
Yeah.
That's an indicator.
Yeah.
And so also this has been a big year for me this time last year until now. I started therapy for the first time. Never had
Yay.
done it before.
We love
Okay.
therapy. We love her.
Yes. And actually my first guest is my therapist. So I'm excited.
Yay. I
Yeah.
love that. I kind of treat this podcast like a therapist session sometimes. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to put all of my, thoughts, feelings, experiences online.
Mhm.
I feel like it's meant to be. Like, we need to be like connected humans. We need to be connected with ourselves, but we also need to be connected with other people
Mhm.
and share those like real life experiences.
Totally. And what she taught me, and this is something that loops back to what you were saying about kind of the self imposed judgment that we have when we are experiencing the discomfort of expansion, which is what a glow up is. When we talk about our future self, those are terms that have been made really popular on Instagram, very viral. But what that really means is it's expansion of yourself, right? Growing, pushing the limits, becoming a hotter and healthier version of you. And so I am someone who has brutally high standards for myself, just
As
very
you
high
should.
standards.
As you should.
And so what comes with that, so the positive side of that is that it really drives me to be exceptional. I want to be exceptional.
Mhm.
But the other side of that is it comes with a lot of self-judgment and self-criticism.
Yep.
And so to your point about, when you go through that process and it's uncomfortable, we then start to doubt ourselves. We then start to turn to whatever is trending online, treat it like it's fact, never question it, and then
Mhm.
think that's the answer.
Yes.
And so what Mary is my therapist, phenomenal, phenomenal. Everyone should work with her. She always will say to me in sessions, especially early on, like, what is your brain telling you? She would ask me that question.
Yeah.
And, to your point again about when it gets uncomfortable and you're in the glow up journey and you're in the process and you're doubting yourself, then I would say, well, my brain is telling me, like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And she's like, okay, that's not right or wrong. That's something to be aware of. And it's telling you something. And most of the time, what it's telling you is that you're pushing the limits. You're going into a new, glowed up layer of who you are, and your brain is just trying to keep you safe
Yes.
because that is what the brain is designed to do.
Yes. I have a little, like, hack that I started doing when I had
Oh.
those same moments. I figured out this alter ego. So she's kind of like a mix of, like, a Beyoncé and, like, she's basically just Beyoncé and, like, a Wonder Woman kind of a vibe.
Hmm.
And so when I feel that self-doubt, I go
Hmm.
into that kind of like, I click on that persona, and it tells my brain, "This person's doing it. You're not actually doing it." And so I remember the first time I did it, I was interviewing J Lo, of all people, in a room.
Of course you were.
I was like, "I can't be here." Like, it was J Lo and Leah Remini, and I was like, "I can't be here. Like, I'm not qualified to be here. I have no interview training. I'm gonna be sitting 6 feet away from J Lo's kneecap with, like, cameras all around me, all the things." And I was like, this is where I clicked on my persona, and I was like, "I got this. I can do this." And it told my brain, "You're fine. You're not gonna die. Maybe your alter ego, but, like, you won't actually die." So that's my little life hack, is to create this little persona of your future self and act through it when you're feeling like your brain isn't telling you the right things.
Okay, I love that you shared that because it's making me realize I do that, but I don't call it an alter ego. And so yours is Beyonce, mine's Taylor Swift.
Yes,
I become the Eras Tour Taylor Swift.
I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. I can totally see it.
This is actually part of what I talk about in my podcast, and I just recorded it yesterday, so it's top of mind, but I was just wicked sick with some sort of, like, cold flu situation, right after Christmas, and I didn't go to the Eras Tour. I didn't go. I know. Big regret. Huge mistake. But tickets were like $5,000 a piece, so I felt like it was justified not to go, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm like on the couch, I'm so bored. And I think to myself, maybe I should just put on the 6-part docuseries, right? The Final Era. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Wicked inspiring. It's so inspiring.
She's such a businesswoman. Like, I love that.
And she has so much wisdom. So listening to her in her interviews, if anyone is in their 30s or later and they're listening to us talk right now and they feel like there's not enough time for them, they're too late, watch this docuseries because she did all of these incredible things, not to mention she got engaged at 35. Like she did these monumental things when she was 33.
I feel like 33 is so young. Like, I'm in my 30s too, and when I was younger, 30s were so old. And I feel like this decade of my life has been the most eye-opening, like, badass year of my entire life, or, like, decade of my life, because I figured out who I was, and I didn't give a fuck if anyone liked it or not.
She says that exact thing. She
Really?
Yes. So that tour became classified as a phenomenon because it broke so many records. It was so big. No one has ever done what she has done. No one, ever. And the last statement she makes before the docuseries closes is she expressed how she gets really depressed by the fact that pop culture has kind of anointed people in their early 20s or even younger as the leaders who are going to shape where culture is going, where art is going, set the standards and the tones. And she said, there's really a privilege to having lived long enough to know yourself and be in your 30s and then create the thing that people will know you for.
Yeah,
And I was like, mic drop. And that is exact what you just said.
yeah,
Exactly what you said.
yeah. Because you're mentally developed enough to know, like, this is who I am, this is what I wanna do. And so tell me a little bit about where you're going. You have your podcast, you
Mhm.
have your 6-week program, you have
Mhm.
one-on-one coaching.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what is your 2026 goal?
Yeah, well, so many. In September, I launched my Wellness by Emily app. So, to link back to my movement journey or my health journey, really, like that's where it was like baptism by fire, right? I became really passionate, really knowledgeable, and I kept learning and learning and learning and learning. And I wanted my approach to wellness later in life, right? 30s. We call that later in life. Like if a woman isn't married by the time she's 30, it's considered she's met someone later in life. But if a woman were to die in her 30s, it would be so shocking that she was so young.
Right. I mean, a pregnancy when you're 35 or older is a geriatric pregnancy.
Exactly.
Geriatric.
Yeah. So that's why we have this cultural narrative that's instilled in women that puts a lot of pressure on us, that makes us question our self-worth, doubt ourselves, and kind of give up on ourselves before the party's even started, right?
Yes.
And so I wanted to bring that into the work that I do and create a hub around it. And that's what Wellness by Emily is. And so, like, I'm always fine tuning it. I have this really amazing deep core series because so many women are going to Pilates, but not really knowing how to get the most out of those classes.
Yes.
So I teach you how to train your deep core. I teach you how to strength train. I have meal plans in there. I have podcasts that I love that are under my Hot Girl Walk section. You know, it's a one-stop shop tool. So I want to expand that. That's big priority for this year.
Love that. I love that you have Hot Girl Walk podcasts because
Yeah.
it's so much more than just lifting weights or eating a salad for lunch.
Never tell you to eat a salad for lunch. Like the girls I coach one-on-one, I'm like, why are you just eating salads?
What would be your idea of consistency if you trusted your body?
In what form? Like, are we looking at workouts? Are we looking at eating healthy? Like, what, from what angle?
I think all the things, we talk about like if we're burnout, like that
Mhm,
looks different for everybody. And,
mhm,
when you're craving something, do you lean into it or do you get like a healthier alternative? And,
mhm,
if you're like a working mom and, you know,
mhm.
do you wake up at 5 a.m. to get a workout in or do you prioritize rest? Like, what does consistency look like when you are trusting your body?
Yeah, so I love this question, and it's gonna be a big layer to answer from me.
I
Okay,
love it.
so
Lay it on me, girlfriend.
this is why I think it's really important to work one-on-one with someone. I mean, truly, I see so many women wanna bypass that, like, I always make it work for someone. I'm never going to have someone spend what they can't spend to get the level of investment in education from me to become consistent. Because just like we talked about earlier, it's a process to understand where are you going to draw that line? Where are you personally? Where is Caitlin going to lean into things? And where is Caitlin going to be a little more, I guess, structured or rigid about things? Where is
Okay.
her boundary going to be? So let's take the example of, let's say you're a mom, you're super busy. Are you a mom, by the way?
I am. I have
Do you
two
have kids?
kids.
Oh my gosh, I did not know. I bet they're so cute and perfect. I bet they're the
Oh,
best.
thank you.
So, you're a working mom, you're an entrepreneur. That's a
Mm,
lot of layers, right? So,
yes.
where I would wanna start is I would ask you, what can we do this right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, if you could give me one goal that you're really passionate about, one dream you have for your wellness in 2026, what would it be?
Well, my word of the year is
Mhm.
harmony.
Okay.
So that kind of transcends into
Mhm.
all aspects. Last year, my word was transcend. And I really
Okay.
wanted to, I bought a second house. I made mine a rental. Like I really like pushed it. And so,
Mhm.
I kind of leveled up. So this year I wanted it to be all about harmony. I really wanted to have like a good wellness routine and really be disciplined and kind of like put up those barriers to say, because I'm an opportunist. If I see an opportunity, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, cool, I'll do it. Like brunch with the girls, I'm like, oh, I'll do it.
Mhm.
But then I'll go off my diet or I'll pick a new business opportunity. And so my kind of idea was having almost like those bumpers up when you're bowling is like blocking out the things that don't align with my current goals.
Mhm.
And so that's just a long way of saying like I'm 36, I'm going to be 37 in May. So I really want to just like have longevity. I want to, be the hottest like version of myself
Mhm.
in a way that isn't like my entire life. Like
Yes.
I'm not like, you know, to say like I'm a vegan or to like say I only do CrossFit or to say I only do this. It's like I want my entire life to incorporate like wellness and say I can miss this workout and I can eat this cookie if I really feel like it, but I don't need to. Or like just kind of have a better, I think, benchmark.
Okay. So, 2 more questions for you. 1, May what
May
is your
18th.
birth? Okay, on May 10th.
Oh my god. It just keeps going.
I know. Then my other question, so what I'm hearing from you is you want a routine that you can stick with that still allows you to experience life the way you want to experience it.
Yes. Like I want to be the most elevated, healthy version of myself, but not so regimented where I'm eating
Mhm.
boiled chicken and brown rice like I'm competing on a stage. Like harmony.
Yeah, so then what I would ask you is cuz I want like a really clear starting point. So let's take your wellness routine and let's break it down to what if we looked at movement? What if we
Okay.
started with movement? Because we're talking about working mom. Should she wake up at 5 a.m. to work out? Should she prioritize rest? So what I would want to get clear on first, because if we're not clear about where we're going, like we can't get there, right?
Right. We're just driving around in a circle.
And that's too where I feel like people get stuck in this I'll start Monday, stop and start cycle that they can never break is because they know they want something different in the world of wellness, but they really can't like articulate maybe what it is. So I always like to dive deeper into okay, so let's look at movement. Like what do you personally do right now for your workout routine or movement?
Yeah, or was it last year? Yeah, middle of the year last year, I got diagnosed with hyperthyroidism.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of low intensity, like I prioritize walking, I prioritize like the deep core that you were saying,
Mhm.
more of like the yoga. I love Pilates. And then
Mhm.
I'll do kind of like the high intensity interval training, but I'll do it with lower weights. So I'm not like a heavyweight girly because I am
Mhm.
a working mom. I'm like, I want to be sore, but I don't want to be like down for the count.
Totally. Depleted. You don't need to
Yeah.
be depleted.
Like in my
Yes.
20s, I was like, sign me up for like an Ironman. Like I'll be out for 3 days. It's fine. Now I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And so, what I would say if someone was coming to me and they were giving me this information, right? It seems like you have a baseline routine
Hmm.
that I would guess, you're sticking to right now.
Yes.
And so when it comes down to the question that you were asking about, okay, so a working mom, does she wake up at 5 or does she prioritize rest, right? Like I want to address how I would go about doing that, like what my thought process is, right? So now we've gotten clear on, okay, what's your goal for 2026? What's your goal for your wellness? We're breaking it down to movement. And then we're looking at what you like doing, what you are doing. And so do you personally struggle with, do I wake up at 5 a.m. or do I prioritize rest?
Yes. Because
Okay.
the entrepreneur in me will stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock, working, getting some things done. And then I'm like, oh, but I didn't get a workout in. So I'm going to wake up
Mhm.
early and do that.
And then you've got, like, what, 5 hours of sleep or something?
Then I'm exhausted. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, a couple things I would say around that, and this is where we get into, like, the logistics side of things and really determining where am I gonna be pretty firm on my boundaries and where am I going to have a little bit more leeway. So, you're balancing a lot, and what I would suggest or offer up is, like, can we stop working earlier?
We can.
Because if you really and this is just like a mental process I go through with my goals and with the women that I work with is, okay, so you want this thing of consistently working out. You've identified the barriers to that not happening.
Yes. Okay.
So then what changes can we make that feel realistic and doable? And looping it even back to earlier in our conversation where you were talking about how you notice you have this internal guidance system.
Yes.
Right? How can we make a decision then and come to a new strategy together that also feels aligned with the deeper part of you?
Yes.
Because that's really how you're going to stick with it.
Yeah. And I love that take on it because, I started, this is the transition from chapter 1 to chapter 2 is like,
Mhm.
you have boundaries in dating, but like you also
Mhm.
have to have boundaries with your friends and with work and, for me, like your children. And so it's now what you're saying is that you also have to have those same boundaries with yourself.
Yeah. Because then to loop it back to another point you made earlier, we can have it all as women. But
Hmm.
how we have it all looks different than maybe we think. And this is also speaking to this mindset concept. Like our mindset around having it all might mean I'm going to grind it out and hustle it out and I'm going to work until 1 a.m. and then I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to do my workout. Then I'm going to full time mom and then I'm going to entrepreneur. But that mindset and the way you're structuring it isn't working because you're actually not able to work out at 5 a.m. or you are and you're exhausted.
Right.
So then it's like, how can I shift my mindset to having it all means I cut myself off from working at 10 p.m.
Yes.
Having it all means I actually wake up at 5:30 to give myself a little bit extra rest. I do an at-home workout for 15 minutes. I get my kids ready. I clock into emails. Then I make sure that I'm either walking around the house for 20 minutes or I'm going outside and I'm walking for 20 minutes.
I like it. I like that you can kind of break it up.
Yes. Who literally show me a person who has the time to do a 60-minute workout like this 5 to 7 days a week. And like this, I mean, it's just straight 60 minutes. Like, I don't do that. I break it up.
You don't do that either?
No, I can't work out 60 minutes 7 days a week. I don't have the time for that. I have to break it up and I have to
Oh my
stack
God.
it.
Love that you just said that because I feel like maybe I'm only speaking for myself, maybe I'm speaking for other
Mhm.
people, but it really does. It seems unless you're in the fitness space where I was a personal trainer, or you're a yoga instructor or you're a
Yeah.
Pilates instructor, you're like, well, they just have the time because they're already there. Or, you look at someone who has an amazing body and you say, well, they just have the time. Maybe you start making assumptions of people with the things that maybe you don't have. So I love that you do break it up. That you're like, "No, an hour is not realistic for most people. Driving 30 minutes or, 15 minutes to a workout and then 15 minutes back, which is 30 more minutes, it's like, it's an hour and a half out of your day."
I really cherry pick the classes I'm going to go to. So I have 1 to 2 sculpt classes a week that I attend. Right?
Okay.
Because it is such an investment in time. Not to mention, I get so sweaty, I have to shower, meaning I have to wash my hair, which tacks on another 45 minutes for me because it takes my hair is unruly. So it's like if I'm gonna invest like, to get it to look like this, I started, at 9:15 to be in this chair by 11. Like, that was just
That might accurate.
yeah. So I'm not about to use so much of my time to be traveling and all the other pieces to get to a class. I'm
So what
just
do you
not.
do? What is
So
your routine, and what would you suggest for someone like me that wants the at-home workouts?
yeah, definitely. So I do my own workouts. I wake up in the morning and I am super focused on my core right now. So I do 15 to 20 minutes of deep core. If you are working on your deep core, you absolutely need one of those Pilates balls. You
Yes.
need it because I can almost guarantee that if you're not using that to train it, then you're not really firing your deep core. Like it is so helpful. So I do that. I will always be walking throughout the day. So I have a yellow lab. She needs to go for a walk. So I'm usually doing that in the early afternoon and around 10:30. 3 days a week, I will strength train. One of those days is at a gym. Functional conditioning, I myself work with a trainer. So I am very passionate about learning from experts because it pushes me so that I can then offer the highest caliber of movement in my app as I can. So I do that 1 day a week and then 2 other days. Usually it's like a Saturday because I get tired from strength workouts. So Saturdays, I have more time to be tired.
Okay.
So that'll be a day that I push myself, and then I'll do another shorter strength workout, maybe around 30 minutes, and another day during the week when I have the time to fit it in. That's what I'm doing right now.
When you break it down like that, and I do not mean to, like, belittle what you're saying at all, it
Mhm,
makes it seem so much easier. What you're saying is like, "Yeah, I do 30 minutes here, 15 minutes here, an
mhm.
hour here." I prioritize rest. It's not like this is your job, but you're not in the gym 24/7.
No,
Your physique, your health, your wellness isn't unattainable.
not at all. The other thing that I should mention is once a week, well, twice a week actually, I'm filming workouts for 3 hours straight, right? Like twice a week. So that is to me a habit stack, like it's a stack, right? I'm full
Yes.
tilt doing my workouts that are not they're not that easy, like you're going to feel the burn. And then I'm talking through it. So there's my cardio. So I'm like always trying to pair things together to optimize my time and make getting the body that I want, doable,
Yes.
realistic.
You say habit stacking. Have you read or listened to, Atomic Habits?
No. I've never read it.
Oh my gosh, I just finished reading it because I think there's so much power in discipline, and the
Mhm.
author talks about habit stacking,
Mhm.
where, you walk on a treadmill and you read a book, or,
Mhm.
every Sunday cook your Sunday dinner, but then you make extra for Monday through Wednesday, and that's what you eat. And so it's like you're doing one thing, but you're just amplifying it a little bit so that you continue to reap the results.
Yeah. So can I tell you a couple of my favorite habit stacks?
Tell me.
Okay, so I'm like we were talking about in the very beginning, I'm really into skincare.
Yes, I'm
So,
glad this is coming up.
yes, I love my red light mask. Okay,
The
but it's
full one.
the full one. It's on a
Okay.
10-minute timer. 10-minute timer. So, I have my alarm set for 5:45 a.m. That's my first alarm. I have my second alarm at 6 a.m.
Okay.
When the 5:45 alarm goes off, I reach over to my nightstand, I grab my red light mask, I stumble, I put it on, and I fall back asleep with the red light on until 6 a.m. So I've just gotten my skincare in before my day even starts. One layer of my skincare. Okay. Then I do a lot of live stream workouts and then I obviously like work like this with my clients. So I feed my dogs and I have my under eye masks chilling in the fridge. So I put my under eye masks on, I make my protein coffee, I feed my dogs. So now I've gotten 21 grams of protein. I have 2 layers of skincare that both help me achieve my goals. So I'm really big on getting clear on what I want. So I want to shrink my pores and minimize
Yes.
and minimize wrinkles, right? And then also I have issues with my under eyes, so my eyes are always a priority. So that's why I'm always doing under eye masks every single day, sometimes twice a day, which I know is extra. I go and I do a live stream workout and then I start working one-on-one with people immediately and I keep these on the whole time. So they're always seeing me with under eye masks.
Okay.
Always. Then I have a lot of administrative work. I have a lot of communication work, so it's computer time the second that I'm done doing my live streams and working out with them. So I keep have you ever tried the Loops face masks?
I have not.
I like them because they're, I find, pretty affordable
Okay.
and I like what they do to my skin. So I have a bunch of those stacked in the fridge.
Okay.
So the second I'm off live streams, I take my under eye masks off. I usually have a second breakfast
Okay.
that's protein packed. And then I put that face mask on and I start doing my computer work.
I love that you do your skincare while you're doing emails.
Who has time to sit there and do skincare for like 20 minutes a day? No one has it.
This is genius. I'm learning so much.
So that's how I treat my life. Like and this might be too much for some people, right? This goes back to honoring who you are and honoring what works for you. Seriously, every moment of my work week is accounted for because
Yes.
if it's not strategic, if it's not planned, I can't do I can't have it all then.
Yes. I feel the same way. And I think it's like that 1% better. So maybe your
Mhm.
routine for a lot of people that are listening right now is like, that is an insane schedule. Like, there's no
Mhm.
way that I can do all this. But even if you're just doing 1% better every day, like for me, a big one was swapping when I'm driving, swapping a podcast for music
Yes.
and reading 1 to 2 chapters while I'm going to the grocery store. And then it was doing my grocery order online so that I have
Mhm.
what I'm gonna
Mhm.
cook, what I need, and then I'm just picking it up from the drive up. And so it's little things that you can start implementing where it's like, to your point, like dead space. Like you're doing emails, but like your face isn't doing anything. So
Right.
let's load it up with some good skincare? It's just so many good things that you can start implementing little tiny
Mhm.
habits every single day.
And I love you naming that and really drawing attention to that because, yes, I have kind of a layered morning routine with all these different skincare things. But I didn't start there. I like to liken it to, let's say you want to start strength training, but you've never picked up a dumbbell before. You've never done it. Why would you pick up a 15-pound dumbbell and expect yourself to do the bicep curls? You've never done
Yes.
it. That's a lot of weights to be bicep curling if you've never
Yeah.
done it. So you start with, can we start with 2 pounds? Can we start with 5 pounds? And then can we progress? So it's like, I start with the red light mask and then maybe I don't do any other skincare in the morning.
Yes.
But over 3 weeks, maybe I prove to myself, I've been consistent with this and I'm loving it. What can I add? How can I progress?
Yes. Just little habits. So it's like, to working out. I'm going to start waking up 15 minutes earlier
Yes.
and getting a stretch in, getting a deep core workout in, not maybe not progressing to this like sweaty mess of a strength training like Ironman style workout.
Mhm.
You're getting a stretch in before your day starts. You're getting a little bit of ab workout in. You're maybe getting, then you progress to a 30-minute body weight workout. And then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm done. That's all I had time for. And you start adding things in.
And to loop back to, I keep saying to loop back to the start of our conversation, but when we were talking about the glow up journey, this version of you, the future version of you, and it's going to look like this, that's what we're talking about. That's what this looks like. That's what
Yes.
progressing and being the hottest and healthiest version of you looks like. No, you're not going to do it all on day 1, and if you do, that's actually a really common thing people do, is bite off more than they can chew when it comes to wellness, and they try to do all the things right away, especially in January, especially in the first 2 weeks of January, and then it's system overload, and no one can maintain that, especially if they haven't been doing any of that consistently
Yes.
before. So it's actually it's a lot of things. It can be a form of self-sabotage because knowingly you go into it subconsciously aware that you won't be able to follow through.
Mm,
Sometimes it is someone just with the best intentions who's, like, so sick of their own BS that
yes.
they load it on. Sometimes it's just your makeup. Like, sometimes people are just that way, and they've done it that way in other areas of their life, so they try to apply it to their wellness too. But it never works.
Yes.
It just doesn't.
Yeah, like, I've seen people do this where they're like, "I'm going keto," or "I'm going this," or "I'm" signing up for, like, an F45 unlimited membership. You're like, "Why wouldn't you just start, like, in the shallow end and
I
just
know.
start, adjust your breakfast, make your breakfast healthier, and then
Yes.
eat whatever you want for the rest of the day." Like, I'm not condoning that, but it's like, start somewhere that's attainable, make it a habit. I think habits take 6 weeks to actually
Mhm.
implement the habit, and then add something else on. And then, okay, I'm gonna start doing this, and then it truly starts transcending across all aspects of your life.
And if I were to give someone listening to this show, like, my top piece of advice for glowing up in 2026 or achieving your wellness goals in 2026, I would go back to different layers of our conversation and say, well, my one piece of advice has 3 prongs to it. It has, I need you to get clear on one specific goal that you have. Telling me you want to get consistent with your routines, it's too broad. What part of your routine? Pick one.
Yes.
Because and show yourself that you can commit to that for 6 weeks. Give yourself the evidence to create self-trust. Then I would say build it into the framework of your life. There are parts of your life, there are parts of my life that can't really move around.
Yes.
They're just there. So
Right.
honor those. Don't try to create friction with them.
Yes.
And the third prong of that is, like, again, start small.
Yes. 1% better every day.
Yeah.
And then you'll look back and you'll say, I am just unrecognizable. Like,
Who doesn't love that feeling?
yes. I did the 2016 challenge, which was 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Unrecognizable. I was like, I remember that girl. I remember who I was. Unrecognizable.
Do you have a second to explain to me what that trend is? Because I keep seeing it and I'm like, I should probably join it, but I don't really know what we're doing here.
Yeah. So you just go back on your camera roll
Okay.
and you find pictures of you from 2016.
Mhm.
For me, it was like, I remember I was like into fitness influencing
Mhm.
back when like Shreds and all of those like huge influencer shows were going on and like everyone was doing supplements. And it was just like, you just go back and you find kind of who you were in 2016. And it's kind of retro because it was a decade ago. I hate that I can have anything retro, but it's kind of a vibe. It's just, we all had like lo-fi edited video or photos and, everything was super dark and like not in a good dark moody way, but like we didn't understand photo composition at all.
Did put the 2016 album together on my phone because I'm like, I should cue this up and get this ready to ride this wave. But I just kept asking myself, like, why am I doing this? Why is this happening right now? Like, why is it a thing? So thank you
You're
for
welcome. It's kind of like, like hashtag throwback Thursday when we'd be like, hashtag throwback Thursday, and it'd be like a picture from Monday. It's like the ultimate throwback.
hey, look for my post. Look for it.
Yeah, I wanna see it today. It's such a vibe. Okay, so thank you so much, Emily, for being on the podcast. Please let everybody know where they can find you, where they can do your one-on-one coaching, where they can
Mhm.
download your app. Like I'm on board because I have decided I'm a workout at home kind of gal now. So
Yes, yes.
where can we find your app? Where can we work with you? Where can we learn more about you and follow your Vibey page?
Yes. So my one-on-one coaching spots are open. You should head to my Instagram, and you can apply there. So it's wellness by underscore M's is my handle. And then to download my app, you will go to my website, wellnessbyems.com. And then I would love for any of the girlies listening to follow, to reach out to me. I love a DM. If you're like, hey, heard you on the podcast. I'd love to learn more about working one on one with you. That's a perfect place to be. And then I will send you access to my app so you can try it out and let me know how you like it.
Yay! Okay. I absolutely love this talk. I could go on for like
I know.
hours. So I feel like we need to like stay in touch for sure. Uh,
Yes,
I'm gonna support
definitely.
your podcast, support you.
My dog, sorry, she's she's like, enough's enough. I'm sorry.
She's like, I need to go outside.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you again. And for anybody listening, remember that wellness isn't about pushing harder. It's about learning how to listen. It's about the glow ups. It's about being 1% better every single day. So if your glow up looks a little messy, feels a little icky, just know that if it feels that way, if it looks that way, you're on the right path. And if this episode shifted something in you, sit with it. And if you know someone stuck in the start over cycle, bestie, you got to send it their way. This is Love in the Wild. We will see you next time.